Testing, 1, 2. Testing, 1, 2. Testing, 1, 2. Can you guys hear me? Testing, 1, 2. Ha! Well, that's disappointing. The mic I was using is a $3,500 microphone, and it just stopped working. I can see the light went off. That's a little scary. I'll figure that out later, but fortunately I have backups. Not that I ever thought that would break, but I just have a lot of equipment. I'm so sorry about that. Yes, I was concentrating on answering these questions. I had no hint that that microphone would just stop going. So I want to answer the couple of questions first. Let me go back and show how I search for. The question is, could you please identify a few sites or apps that I can get the chords and lyrics for songs? So I don't go to a particular site. I now use Google search because that way I don't have to find a site and can't find the song and go on to another site. This just will tell me all the sites that have that song that I'm looking for. So let me get back to the presentation mode. So what I showed at first was that I went on Google search and look up Take It Easy. Now, there we go. I'll get a bunch of sites that have the chords and the lyrics to Take It Easy. I type in the song, the name of the band, and just chords. That'll get me the lyrics too, always. And I don't need to type in more than that. It's just going to clutter things up. Usually the sites that come up first are Ultimate Guitar and E-Chords. And this is a good example because it's exactly what came up. It's a popular song. But I might find some other site that has a better version. You have to be careful because these are crowdsourced. In other words, people are submitting their version of the song. None of these has a pro going in there and writing it out. For that, you have to buy the sheet music. And that means that there are likely going to be some inaccuracies. Not maybe, likely. Then I go to YouTube. So I'll collect a few, by the way. I won't just settle with one. I'll collect a few that look accurate. I'll go to YouTube and find a lesson, somebody teaching that. And to do that, I type in the name of the song, and I type in lesson. Otherwise, you get a bunch of people playing the song. Usually what I look for is Justin Guitar or Andy, Marty Music. Andy too, but Marty and Justin are my two go-tos because I can depend on them for being accurate with the songs. I would recommend to be hesitant with people who are new to YouTube or playing or don't have a lot of subscribers because I've found a lot of people that are not well known are not playing the song accurately. Now, if you're a beginner, you might want a simplified version. That's okay. I want the accurate one first, and then I can decide where to simplify it. And I can count on Marty Music and Justin both. And if they make any changes, they'll say it. They're not just throwing it out there. Then I'll take all that. I'll also probably listen to the song by the original artist. That way I have a reference. And if I don't know the song, that way I have a reference when somebody's teaching it, if it sounds like what the original artist was doing. And I'll put all that together. I'll whittle down the lyrics and the chords to sound like the lesson and to sound like the original artist. And if I want to simplify it, maybe I'll change a little there. I put it on the Google Doc so that I have it, so I don't have to keep looking back and looking for it. To me, that's more efficient than just having a list of sites with songs on it. Next question. I'm getting back into it. I'm not sure where to start. Any suggestions? This is Arthur. I think, Arthur, you're a member of my Real Guitar Success. I'd recommend you just go to the beginner's journey and just find a place in the beginner's journey, maybe even from the very start or the second adventure, which is where it starts getting going pretty good, and just see where it's easy and where it's hard. Easy lessons, you can kind of brush through and go faster. And where it's hard, that's where you need to do some more work. If you don't have access to Real Guitar Success, you could hire a teacher to help you with that. You could also search through YouTube. It's a little hard for students to know the order. And when you're searching for lessons and they're not in some kind of step-by-step order, you're kind of at a loss. So that's why I recommend hiring a teacher, or if you're not a member of Real Guitar Success, I've got a 14-day trial. Even that 14 days will get you kind of back on track, and you'll have, if you've practiced regularly over those 14 days, you'll have a good sense of where you're at and what you need to work on. And the next question is by Rogelio. He wants to know bar chords. What are good exercises to use and to continue and to improve on them? And I'm going to check on my chat just to make sure everybody can hear me now. It looks like everybody's saying, yes, you're back. Okay, Dan, I hope you caught that last part. I did go back over it. Good. Okay. Bar chords, exercises. If you're a member of Real Guitar Success, go to the Bar Chords for Everyone course in Real Guitar Success. Really. And it's because there's a number of exercises and they're graded. So I can give you some exercises now. One of the things I like to do is break bar chords down into its components. So I'll have students practice just the bar. Start right here and just play one note at a time. Oh, let's go to my guitar so you can see it. There. So what I'm doing now is I'm barring across the first... No, let's start in the 5th fret. I'll explain that in a minute. I'm barring, and I'm just going to play the 6th string, and now I release the bar. Press down, 5th string, release. 4th string, release. And so on. Then I go down the fret. The reason I start in the 5th fret is actually harder here, close to the nut, more tension. So I'll start here, and it gets harder as you go down. If it's too hard, what you can do is start up here and just go down to here. The hardest is right here to make the bar. So let's say you start here. Go down the fret. Go down the fret. And so on. As I would say, if you're in the early stages, just go down to the 3rd fret. If you've been doing this for a while and you want to brush up, go all the way down to the 1st fret. That'll be a work for the F chord. Now, in Bar Chords for Everyone, I take that same concept and go further. I'll have you practice the parts of the bar. We'll call it the power chord. So I'll do something similar, only without the bar. Then I'll add the 3rd finger. So that's a bar chord without the bar. That would be with the bar, without the bar. Then we'll put the two together, bar and the chord. We'll start up in here, and because of that difficulty down here, and work here until you get more experience, and then ease it down. So those are all things you can do yourself, and you can search YouTube. Also, I have some lessons on YouTube which basically explain what I just did again, and maybe even a little more detail, and a few more exercises. What are common chord progression to use with bar chords? What are common chord progressions to use with bar chords? So I often teach students, once they learn the basic chords, to put them into common chord progressions for 2 reasons. It's a great way to practice the chord movement. It's more important than just practicing one chord at a time. And you're practicing in a way that you're going to use it a lot. That's why the name common chord progression. But the other reason is you'll find if you're learning songs that a lot of them are made of either common chord progressions or at least partly. And that saves a lot of time and trouble when learning new songs, especially if you have a little library of, half a dozen or so of the most common progressions under your belt. You can play the chords. Now, when you see a song with that, you're anywhere from halfway to 95% of the way of knowing how to play the song. That said, any common progression you can play with open chords, you can play with bar chords. There's no distinction. What I mean by that is the common progressions don't have a preference for bar or open chords. So here's an example. Here's a common progression. Three-chord progression. Really common. In G. Start with G, and the other two chords are supporting chords in the key of G. Bar chords, same thing. C, D, and G. Common progression, I can play with bar chords or open chords. Another one, here's a 1-6-4-5, another common kind of 50s rock, used nowadays to give that 50s rock feel. C, A minor, F, and G. 1, 1, 6, 4, 5. Bar chords. 1. Sounds different because it's bar, but same progression exactly. And checking. Okay, so far everything's good. What are simple songs that use bar chords that we can use or hear anything like? Or there anything like that? What are some simple What are some simple songs to play bar chords? Practice bar chords, in other words. One of the ones I like to use is I can't sing and play it right now, but it's da 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 da. It's a good one. It's recognizable, even if you don't know that song. That's been used a few times with a few different songs, so it's a recognizable kind of sound. And it gives you some practice moving some distance with bar chords instead of just right next to each other. And you need that because sometimes you do need to move. By the way, if you want a harder version, it's also a way you can practice the 5th string bar chord. Oh, there we go. 5th string bar chords. And with just 6th string. And I'm playing it in G. If you want to make it harder, start with F. 5th strings are traditionally harder to play than 6th string root bar chords, especially that one. Now, the idea is to pick songs with not too many chords. And a lot of times I'll have students start off with songs that just use one bar chord, or even use a song that doesn't use a bar chord, but I'll have them play one of the chords with a bar just to get used to bar chords on the way. But I really I recommend this song either as an exercise or as a song for working on your bar chords. What are good fingering exercises to improve finger picking, and how can we use finger picking with bar chords? Okay. A good finger picking exercise, it depends on your level, of course, is to practice a common chord progression with a simple finger picking pattern to start. Here's a simple finger picking pattern. It's bass note, and then I'll say 3, 2, 1. I'm talking about the strings. So bass, 3, 2, 1. And I said bass because the bass is going to change with the chord. But I'm going to keep the other fingers on the 3, 2, 1. So watch this. Here's a common progression. That's G, E minor, C, D. So the bass note's going to change. Now it's open E, 6th string. C, that's the 5th string. And D. Now it's the 4th string for the bass. Now you're working on the thumb, moving around to the different bass notes. So start very slow. And that's a problem I see with a lot of students. They try to go too fast and they practice inaccuracies. So you want to practice slow enough. This is one you could use with the metronome. That would be too fast to start. So I think I'm going to get down to about 60. There we go. Here's my metronome, 60 beats per minute. Sounds slow, right? But I'm listening to the notes. That keeps it interesting. Are they nice and clear? How's my bass note? Relax hand. So I'll do that for a while, then up it, let's go 65. I jumped a bit. And each day I'll up it a little bit till I get to whatever sounds like the songs I'm trying to play. But staying relaxed and good sounding notes. Okay, and I do have more finger picking exercises. I'll put a link to that in the show notes. So that's all the pre-submitted questions I have for today. Let's start looking at the ones that have been submitted. I'll skip the ones that say, where the heck is your audio? Oh, boy. A lot of people are trying to tell me because I have to go through a lot of questions now. Okay, here we are. Hey, could you guys tell me if the audio is loud enough? I haven't spent time adjusting this microphone. Let me know if it's loud enough or too loud. And I'll get down to the bottom in a minute and see your answers. Yes. Okay, a lot of I can't hear you, so I hate to miss a real question. Oh, everybody says good now. And thank you for going back. Chordy, Joseph says, is another good one for the chords and the lyrics. Greg says he's been working on his picking, and he's using one of the rounded edges of the pick. I've experimented just a little bit with that, but I don't like that it's not as crisp. It's It's not a big difference, but I guess it depends on what you're doing. If you're strumming, maybe that's fine. No, I still like it with the pointy part of the pick. But the trick there is when you're working on picking is to stay relaxed and to twist your hand a little bit. Otherwise, it's going to be harsh. But it seems like I lose crispness. Ultimately, if you like the sound, there's no reason not to do that. Chordify is another good one that Joseph mentions for looking for songs. Ha! Thank you, Joseph. He says his favorite lessons are Thomas, me. Michael says he's learning bar chords, and the position of the guitar on your lap makes it easier or harder. One thing I can say is that a lot of people, when they sit the guitar on their lap, it slowly turns this way, and that really makes it hard to play bar chords. You need your guitar to really sit straight up, which, of course, the reason they're tilting it down is because they're trying to lean over and look at the guitar, like this, which it just doesn't really work that well. It's okay to look once in a while, but to keep your head down, the guitar starts turning this way. So, two things. Keep your guitar straight up. And if that's a problem, put a strap on your guitar and adjust it so that the guitar stays still, just touching your lap, but the strap will make it so you can't slide down. The second advantage of that is if you ever stand up, the guitar will stay in exactly the same place. Joseph says, Knocking on Heaven's Door is a good song to practice your bar chords. Simple song. Well, you're welcome, Rogelio. You like the fingerpicking workout. Everybody says, sounds good. Who'll Stop the Rain by Creedence. Another good one. Okay, I'm going to stick with this mic from now on. I'll figure out what's wrong with the expensive one, but I'll save that for something else. How do we start practicing with other people that may be more advanced than we are? And then after that, I got an adult dating site, whatever. One of the best things you can do to practice, to play with other people, is to play with backing tracks first, because that's a good stepping stone to playing something that's in line with other instruments. And on the Real Guitar Success, there's a lot of backing tracks that you can use, but you can find on YouTube a million. I'm surprised, actually. I did a search recently, and I could find tons of stuff. When you're playing with other people, that's always a difficulty in everything, not just guitar. I was learning to play tennis one time, and I play with people better than me, and there's a point where I get too frustrated because they wipe me out every time. Some people are more patient and they can kind of lighten up a little bit and give me a chance. Some can't. It's partly finding the right people that are patient, not going to get impatient with where you're at, but people are better than you. It's easier to get better yourself if you're playing with people who are at least as good or better than you are. At the same time, the better people, if you're better than other people, sometimes you want to play with people that aren't quite as good as you. Not all the time, but you're doing the same thing for them and improving yourself along the way. There's a balancing act there. The better you get, the more options you have. Keep practicing with play-along tracks. Keep recording chord progressions yourself and then playing along with them. Try to get a drum track. I use drums on my computer and see what it's like to play with a drummer, to keep you on beat, to keep you honest. That's one of the difficulties of playing with other people. You have to play at the beat that the other people are playing with. By the way, make sure you're all in tune. Use electronic tuner. That used to kill our practice sessions when one person was not quite in tune. I can delete these adult things, but I don't want to go through it right now. Yeah, bots, that's what it is. Bad Mood and Rising is another good one. It's a simple 3-chord song. Oh, he says 4-chord song. I've always played with 3 chords, but maybe I'm missing a chord. No. I see bad mood rising. I see trouble on the way. I see. There we are. I'll do the chorus. And don't go on tonight. It's bound every night. Back on the night. Yeah, 3 chords. Maybe there's a chord I'm missing, but it still works with 3 chords. Question. Backing track is a great idea. We'll need to check that out. Can you explain a little more on the drum machine you just mentioned? I was talking about this. Let me get to my drum machine. It's actually drum software. Check this out. So this is, first of all, a program, not the drums. This is a program called Cakewalk on my computer. Cakewalk is free and no charge. It's amazing. It's a wonderful software. I can't imagine why anybody would not want to have it unless they have something else that does the job and they're used to it. Then within this software, you can get drum software. One of the ones is Easy Drummer. It is a paid for. That's what it looks like. And I can make different drum beats. It has pre-recorded drum beats and just drag them into the software and it'll play those drum beats along. Then I can also record my guitar with those drum beats. So that's what I'm talking about. Now there are free drum software too. I'd rather just pay and partly because I'm used to it. But you don't have to pay. There are. I think Cakewalk has its own drum software. I just don't use it. Next question. So Joseph is saying that he plays, I think, Bad Moon, G, A, and D. Just a different key. I went to a key of A. I think that's how I always played it. But yeah, G, A, and D works just as well. And okay, it looks like I've covered all the questions. And Mark is suggesting something. This is interesting. I've never tried this, but he says try your senior centers to get people to jam with. And if you're 50 and older, you know, they probably don't want teenagers coming in the senior centers, but I don't know. I get it. That's probably a good source of people that want to play for fun. I used to get friends that would like to play together, and we would just meet up at my house and play for fun. And sometimes when we were playing stuff that sounded decent enough, we'd work it up and go play for some of the senior centers ourselves as entertainment. That was fun. Also playing in church, of course. Okay, so I'm going to go on to the, one more question. Here, we got it. I'm 74-year-old, new, about a year. I'm homebound, care for my wife. And can you recommend can you recommend to me advanced? I guess he's saying, Jim is saying, can you recommend how to learn guitar? Probably you're a great one to learn online lessons. I certainly can recommend Real Guitar Success. There's a 14-day trial, but there's a lot of good lessons right now online. And that makes it perfect for somebody who can't get out of the house. You can have a teacher come to your house, but generally speaking, I think the online lessons are so good, I at least start there. It's very affordable nowadays. And Mark says, put ads in Craigslist that you're looking for people to jam with. That's a great idea. Okay, I'm going to go through and do this drawing, and then I will stop again and look for some additional questions so that I can answer them before I close up for today. So again, for anybody who's come afterwards, this drawing is for people who are part of my Real Guitar Success membership. They've completed the 20 practice sessions, which just involves 10 minutes. Just don't have to get it great. Just spend 10 minutes on it. Check it off that you did it. Decide if you want to come back to it later. You can save it in your favorites. And this is for a $50 Amazon gift card. And the drawing is going to David. David will be sending you a gift card today, actually. And all of you who have completed the 20 practice sessions, good work. You did a great job. And of course, the real reward is that you're better at playing guitar, and I hope you feel good about completing the sessions for the month. We're going to start again. I think we've already started, actually, for October. And let me check. Any last minute questions? Thank you. I appreciate it. Just the best, Real Guitar Success. Okay, I don't see any more questions. I'm going to close up for today. Sorry again for the inconvenience, and I really appreciate those who hung out there with me. I don't know what to say. I'd say I'd check my mic next time, but it worked when I started. When I checked it the first time before I went live, but I'll stick to this mic. This one seems more reliable. I will look forward to seeing you all again next month, first Thursday of the month. And please submit your questions ahead of time if you'd like, but you're always welcome to come live and submit your questions too. If you submit them ahead of time, sometimes I'll do a little research, and I had ready the presentation on the searching for sites with chords and lyrics. So bye for now. See you next month.